Hello. Maybe for some of you, it's the first time you've actually seen my face or what I look like, but I'm Autumn Powers, and welcome to my little art studio in Portland, Oregon. So I'm hoping that you will maybe take the January Sketchbook Challenge with me. All it is entire month of January, we do a doodle or a sketch every day. Here's the reason why. One, if you've maybe fallen out of practice or maybe you've never started a journal or a sketchbook practice, here's a great way to do it. Spend a little time doing a little doodle. It doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be based on anything, but you're getting in the habit of drawing and sketching. Second, habit is the key word. So maybe you're one of your resolutions for New Year's, which we tend to all have, not everybody, but maybe is building a creative habit, getting back into drawing. Maybe the year 2020 really has zapped you from creativity and okay, 2021, let's do this. Let's get our creativity back. And so we have to build that habit back in, building that stamina. Just like I tell my elementary students, building reading and writing stamina takes a little practice. Do start a little bit each day. We'll get there. So maybe you're just wanting to build that practice back in because you really haven't been creating much or don't feel like, no. So that's another reason too. A third reason is really my main reason is I really want to get better at drawing. And so the best way to get better at anything, as you know, is to practice. And even if practice looks like play, if it's a mess, if it looks like garbage, which many drawings do for all of artists, but you will improve. So any of those reasons, and there's probably more reasons why, maybe you want to join me for the January Sketchbook Challenge. So basically, we're going to be drawing for 31 days straight. And they can be as simple as 5 minutes a day to an hour a day. It really depends on how much time you have. For me, I will be back teaching soon and with my students, and I put in pretty long days as a public school teacher. So sometimes I can only squeeze in about 10 minutes of drawing sometimes a day. Sometimes other days I can get a little luckier and spend more time with the drawing. So for the most part, mine are not going to take hours upon hours. They're going to be just quick little things that I'm going to be practicing. And so really that how much time you put into it, totally up to you. If you are just getting back into a drawing habit or building a sketchbook practice for the first time, you may want to start small little goals. You build on those. Again, that's one thing of building that stamina. As for sketchbooks, don't really need to go fancy. You can, if you got a present, let me block that light. If you got a cute little journal that you got for the holidays as a gift, this one, it even has lined paper. You can use that really basic paper. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can go to Michael's or Craft Warehouse if that's in your area. And this is a dotted one, and I like this size because it's small. Again, I'm going to be starting small to build up my stamina because anything bigger to me right now is a little intimidating, and I want to make sure that I'm going to follow through and do 31 sketches in 31 days. You can even just get a block of white paper. You could get paper, staple it together, sew it together, make your own. You can even get a cheap composition book. I love using these for art. Sometimes I coat the pages in paint. I won't do this for this challenge, but maybe a future challenge. So just grab any journal. And again, if you want to be fancy and pro, get those nice ones, go for it. I'm not. Those are really intimidating. And unless I have a specific purpose or I have more time to work in those, I tend to avoid the really expensive ones for now. I do have some, and I only pull them out every once in a while. Most sketchbook or monthly daily drawing challenges come with like prompt style. I may or may not provide prompts, but that's not what I'm going to be focusing on. For me, I'm going to be focusing on just picking one supply and probably more about the idea of limiting myself. Again, when I have too many options, overwhelmed, paralyzed, don't create a thing. So mine is going to be a little different because I'm not doing like a daily prompt. I'm going to be probably doing a weekly supply. So that means simple ballpoint pen. We're going to be spending a week on using a ballpoint pen and drawing with that. Cheap watercolors. Go get like at a dollar store and just grab those cheap ones with like the primary colors. You know, markers, kid markers, if you have them. Colored pencils. Don't need to get any extra supplies. And in fact, if all you have right now is some ballpoint pens laying around or a pencil, just use that. You can do everything with those things. It's actually amazing what you can do when you're limited. So go ahead and start gathering that, because January 1st is the first day that we're going to start, of course. So be thinking about what type of sketchbook, and it doesn't have to be a traditional one. Again, it can be a lined notebook. Do some fun stuff in there. It could be an old daily journal or calendar that you never finished using. Use that. Get some basic supplies, but don't go out and buy anything. You don't have to buy any extra supplies for this. Again, ballpoint pens, pencils, stick with that. And then come with an open mind, and we are going to practice a little bit of discipline by making sure we do a sketch a day in our sketchbooks, starting to build that creative habit, getting better at something. And maybe for some of you, you want to improve a specific skill or the use of a supply. This is a good time to do it for 31 days. Spend all those days on that one thing. You'll really get to know it. Let me know if you have questions. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, or at least my website journal entries, so that you don't miss anything, because I will be posting on my blog of videos, of tips, of process videos that I'll be doing. And if you need some encouragement, if you need some help tapping back into that creative energy, or just you get to a place where everything I make is terrible, I don't want to do this anymore, join. You're normal. Congratulations, you're an artist. Yeah, I produce a lot of crappy stuff, and it's sometimes hard to push through that, but I'll be there for you. All right, so designate a sketchbook that you'll be using. Gather just a few supplies. In fact, even just like maybe 3 colors of colored pencils, or 2 or 3 colors of markers. Like, I'll talk more about limitation later. Let me know if you have any questions before we begin.